Welcome back to the book break. My name is John Paul, aka JP Reads on TikTok, and I am back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Out There Screaming, edited by Jordan Peele, a collection of short black horror stories by black authors, going through how much they scared me, the goriness, how much they put fear in me, and just, discussing everything that's inside of here. I mean, again, the cover looks freaky, so I was expecting quite a bit from it, but I'll give you guys my review, and hopefully you like it. First, I'm going to talk about the stories that were scary. There was 5 of them. I'm going to go through 5 of those titles. So when you pick up this book, if you're looking for something to scare you, you know exactly where to go. So in no particular order, the first story that scared me was Dark Home. That story was it's about a girl who her father passes away, and she acts on purpose. She takes a ring back home with her, but that ring wasn't meant to leave the country, and freaky stuff starts happening to her afterwards. That's what I'm going to give you guys. And coupled up with the grief and mourning, and then like weird things are happening to you, to your house, and to you as you drive through going to work, that just gave me a little bit of a scare. I won't lie. So I think if you're looking for a story that's going to scare you, I think that's the first one that you should go to. The second story is Flicker by L.D. Lewis. Now this story is just about the world it doesn't seem like what it actually is, and people start going missing, but in the very, very strangest of ways. And it's kind of like it's getting Final Destination, but people just are going missing, essentially. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's a reason why it scared me that I can't tell you, because it will be giving a lot away. But again, if you want a story that's going to give you a little bit of a jump, Flickers is another story to go to. Story number 3 is The Other One by Violet Allen. That story was just about relationships coming to pieces, and now your ex's heart is on the table, and the person that texted the picture of your ex's heart on the table is telling you to come to the house and play with them, or else they're gonna actually like your ex. I don't know what you would do. I would run there. And then again, freaky stuff was happening, and as the main character in that story, watching them and their emotions and stuff, it just put a little bit of fear in me, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because you think it's a game, but then it's not a game and it's real life, and then you have to deal with everything afterwards. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but I think if that sounds like a bit of you, pick this book. Story number 4 is The Invasion of the Baby Snatchers. Now, imagine you're in a loving relationship, and you find out that your partner is pregnant. And when your partner is pregnant, the world breaks out with news that they do not know if the babies are human or the babies are alien, because somehow aliens are invading the world, not through the normal way that we've been told, but they're coming through the form of unborn babies. Babies are being born with full sets of teeth, bouncing on the walls, and eating people. And that could be your child. You have no idea. Invasion of the Baby Snatchers. That's what the story's about. I'm not going to give much away. Again, like I said, this is spoiler-free as much as I can, but I implore you, and implore is a very strong word, to pick up this book and read that story, because I think that was one of my favorites as well. Again, I'm not really used to being scared by words, but I was scared by some of the words on the page. And story number 5 that was scary was Your Happy Place. His happy place wasn't happy. His happy place was, people were departing from this planet, from this earth. And I don't want to give too much away. I can't, because I tried to think about how I would inform you guys about the story without giving much away. I can't. So I'm just going to say read it, but that was on the list of stories that scared me. So there we have it. Next up, we have the stories that freaked me out and that were gory. Just those of blood, guts, and gore. And there are a few of them in here, and I'm going to tell you about them. So let's go. The first one is Iron Tooth by Rebecca Roanhorse. Now, the story itself was a bit weird, but the fact that the way that Rebecca describes some of the stuff that goes in the story, it's just crazy. I could visualize it, all the guts, all the gore, and just the way that people were having limbs go missing and other things were going missing. It freaked me out. I'm not easily freaked out, again, by words, but it did the trick. So that's story number 1. Stories number 2 and 3, I've already mentioned. Happy Place and The Other One. Those stories, as well as like being scary, were also gory. Like I said, heart on the table, and the other one is Happy Places when people are going, again, yeah, I couldn't do it. I had to pause, especially with The Other One. When she mentioned the heart on the table, I just had to close the book for a bit, and then reopen it and continue, because the imagery of a heart on the table was a lot. Again, I love the detail, the expression, and the words used to describe the things that were going on in this short story. So again, all I'm saying is just pick this book up because it was a very, 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 very good read. Gory slash freaky story number 4 is called The Strongest Abia Woman in the World. I don't say about this book. I think it probably is one that freaked me out the most. Summarize it. There's a girl. She decides she wants to fight a demon that has taken away her parents. So she ends up going into this pool to find this water demon, and it ends up attaching itself to her body. So she ends up having a leg that's like a fully demon. And then she basically decides she doesn't want it anymore. There's a lot more that goes in the story. I think that's the most basic way that I could give it to you. But again, when things are happening in the story in the way that the author describes what's going on, and the way the leg attaches and becomes part of her, oh yeah, I think it's probably the goriest one in there. It made me visibly like yuck. It just wasn't great at all. But I did like it. I think you guys would like it too. I mean, if you like blood, guts and gore, I think this book is for you, honestly. And freaky slash gory book number 5 is called A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree. It's about 2 girls. They're both gone, departed from this planet, but they're still alive in some sense. Like, their bodies are still moving, and basically they're going around doing stuff to people because they're dead, kind of like revenge. And the way that the deaths are being described, it shocked me. I think it's one of the last ones that I read today because I didn't read in order. It was just a lot that was going on in the book. Again, very, very gory, lots of blood, cuts and gore, and it was kind of comedic. I don't know if that's a weird way of saying it. It was kind of funny reading the way that people were being killed. I shouldn't say that, but that's just me, my honest opinion at this point. But I would say another story to read, and it's also one of my favorites as well, like I've said. So again, pick this up. Now, the last category before I go on and talk about just my favorite stories, we're gonna go through all of them, is stories in here that gave me the chills, like maybe just different things about them. Some of them gave me chills for different reasons, but I'm just gonna talk about why they gave me the chills. Try not to give too much away, you know the drill. Let's just go. First story is called Reckless Eyeballing by N.K. Jemblin. It's about a police officer who's just corrupt. He takes advantage of his status as a police officer, but the people that he takes advantage of, he sees eyeballs on their car. And again, I think what gave me the chills is the way that the eyeballs are being described, and the way and where the eyeballs were, and kind of what he was doing as a result of seeing those eyeballs and his responses to them. It's just a very interesting story, interesting take on the way that corruption occurs in police and stuff. And it was just, I don't know, chilling. I think that's just what I can say. Not to give too much away, but it freaks me out a little bit. Read it if you want to. But yeah. Story number 3 that gave me the chills was called The Wandering Devil. It's about a man who has commitment issues. He can't stay attached to a partner. He just likes to move around, move country, move city, move state. He can't stay committed. And a prophecy is told where something's going to happen, essentially, and the prophecy comes to pass. But when that prophecy comes to pass, the things that happen afterwards gave me the chills. It's just the description of what happens, I think, mainly the story as well, and what actually happened as well. I don't want to give too much away. You know the drill. You doesn't have to read it. The whole point of this video is me telling you guys to read this collection of short stories. It was good. And story number 3 is called The Rider. It's about 2 sisters who are going to a protest from their home. It's based back in the civil rights movement, and it gave me the chills because although it's part of a horror collection, this stuff did happen. They get on the bus, and the driver is supposed to take them somewhere, ends up taking them somewhere else in an arrangement to basically get them killed, because that's what happened in the civil rights movements to people who were fighting for freedom. And that's where it gave me the chills, because even though there were so many paranormal aspects attached to this book, if you remove all those aspects, it's still the same. It's happened in its history. So that's the reason why it gave me the chills. But again, the writing and the description of what happened, and I guess the fear of the characters translated to me was quite interesting because I just can't really do that in books, but I felt what they were feeling. I tried to feel what they were feeling as I was reading the book and reading the short story, sorry. And I think that the author's done a very fantastic job. So that's another story to read. I've obviously that one's probably one of the harder ones to read, but it's worth reading if you do get the chance to. And to round it off, I'm going to go through these authors and their short stories and tell you which ones are my favourites. So you know, if you had it straight from my mouth, if you had it straight from JP Reads on the book break, which ones that I thought were my favourites. So if you want to go and read them, you know that, okay, they've been endorsed by me and the book break, which is good, you know. So I'm going to go through those stories and hopefully you guys like them too. Let me know in the comments what you thought of them, your thoughts, your feelings, whether they scared you, whether they were gory, or even if they weren't. If there's some stories that you weren't really fond of, let us know why, or we're here for the conversation. I'm going to look at the book because I don't really know the names off by heart. So the stories that I liked were Iron Tooth, spoken about that. Wandering Devils, spoke about that. The Invasion of the Baby Snatchers, spoke about that. The other one, The Rider, The Aesthete. That was a very good story. It wasn't freaky, it wasn't gory, it didn't scare me, but I think just the plot was great. I think that was probably 10 out of 10 story. Dark Home, good one, spoke about that. Flicker was a great one. The Most Strongest Abia Woman of the World. A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree. An American Fable. Your Happy Place. Hide and Seek, and Origin Stories. So the ones I didn't mention, they weren't my favourites for some reasons. Probably won't spoke about those. But the ones I've listed were great, which is the majority of them anyway. So again, goes to show that this book is a great one. A collection of short stories, black horror stories, edited by Jordan Peele. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope that was enough to convince you to add that to your bookshelf and diversify your bookshelf. If you need any recommendations, my @ on TikTok is JPRead6. Got some black lit, fake black romance, some black horror, some black thriller in there as well. Anything that kind of floats your boat, I'm the guy. But it was lovely to be here on the book break, and hopefully I'll be back soon. Take care.